Morning everybody, Silverbolt here, back for a Transformers review. Going to be doing, as per the title page, Star Wing, X-Wing Transformer. No, Star Wars, X-Wing Transformer, not Star Wing. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this one is because I've currently been going back on a bit of a Star Wars buzz at the moment. I'm currently rereading all of the Star Wars books that I own, which for me is about 25. Currently working my way through the Rogue Squadron ones, the X-Wing series, which is my favourite series. So I thought I'd do the X-Wing Starfighter, because it's been mentioned in my other videos by me that I am a big fan of the X-Wing, so here we go. Now, just a quick note, for those of you who don't follow the EU universe, which is the expanded universe popularised by the books, then a lot of what I'm going to say is going to go yow! Just to warn you now. Okay, now the X-Wing Starfighter, or to give it its proper name, the Incom T-65 Starfighter, was built by Incom Industries, who, after defecting to the Rebel Alliance on the planet of Frieza, gave them the X-Wing design and the X-Wing plans. And it rapidly becomes the mainstay of the Rebel Alliance. It's its most identifiable ship. And, well, it's quite nifty. The X-Wing is a very nifty ship. Now, it has two modes. This one, with its wings closed, which are called S-foils, which are closed, is used for main travel. It's to preserve power, especially when travelling through hyperspace. However, with its famous line of lock S-foils in attack position, the X-Wing spreads out its weapons like this, which immediately gives it its very distinctive X shape, which can be viewed from the front, and an X, even more noticeably, from the back. Now, the X-Wing's weaponry, it carries 4 Tame and Back KX-9 laser cannons. It has 2 proton torpedo launchers, which I believe are situated at the front end of the nose, and it has shields. So it's a very all-round versatile fighter. You know, it's got very good ship-to-ship capabilities for dogfighting. It's got shielding to keep its pilots alive, because unlike the Galactic Empire, the Rebel Alliance likes to keep its pilots alive. Unlike the Empire, who just shoves them out in those TIE fighters. It is also equipped with hyperspace travel, so it can go through light speed, and that kind of it negates the need, unlike TIE fighters, for a carrier, which suits the Rebel Alliance's hit and run tactics quite well. Its proton torpedo base can be uploaded with various weapon systems, such as concussion missiles. However, it requires quite a bit of modification in order to do so. Now, one of the things I'm going to point out, one of the things that's come out in the films, is the ability of our future hero Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is able to fly one of these little babies and blow up a Death Star with it. Now, the reason for this that has been supposedly put forward is that, as you see in A New Hope, Luke Skywalker, of course, does have an airspeeder, which I believe is the T-16s. The T-16 Landhopper, I believe it's called. I could be wrong about that, I'm not sure. And they are also built by Incom. And the controls for an Incom land speeder are quite similar to the controls for an X-Wing. Which is, so, Rebel pilots wishing to become versed in the lore of flying an X-Wing, are made to practice in the Landhopper. And apparently, anybody who's had extensive training in a Landhopper is able to go from a speed that can't go more than 20 feet above the ground to a no-atmospheric starfighter. Now, the most prominent weapons on the X-Wing, of course, are the S-foil mounted laser cannons. Excuse me, summer colds. I've always got a bloody cold. Okay. Now, the X-Wing's weaponry has about four distinctive firing patterns. Now, its most obvious one would be the quad shot, which it's all 4 weapons that merge like that into a single point. So you really do have to be a damn good shot to hit with that. It also has, but that's only one of its functions, it also has single shot, so it can fire single shots at a time. Its most common one is the dual fire, which is where it fires that one, and then that one, and then that one, and that one, respectively. So it goes 2, 2, 2, 2. If you can figure out what my fingers are doing, 2, 2, 2, 2, and that's its most commonly used one. Its other one, which as far as I'm aware has only been used in games like Rogue Squadron, sorry, on things like the GameCube, because I've got that, is where it can do a stutter shot, which is all 4 lasers firing in rapid succession, but that's not very powerful in comparison to its normal firing abilities. Now, as obviously the X-Wing is hyperspace capable, however, it doesn't have a Navi computer, which is the machine that they use to navigate trails through hyperspace. In the X-Wing and in other designs, this is solved by having an astromech droid, which plots the hyperspace calculations. It also handles emergency repairs, well, in that part of the ship. Now, the X-Wing, as I said, I believe I said anyway, is the most popular ship known in the Rebel Alliance, and its mainstay. And its most famous squadron, which is Rogue Squadron, fly it almost exclusively. They don't fly anything else if they can help it. Admittedly, by the Yuuzhan Vong Wars, which occur much later in the books, the X-Wing is still in service, but it's been modified several times. I think it's the XJ X-Wing, has 3 proton torpedo launchers, and its laser cannons and its engines are more powerful. But Rogue Squadrons still fly X-Wings. And Rogue Squadron, of course, have had some quite notable members. Its most famous member would be Wedge Antilles, who's the leader of the X-Wings, and he's my favourite Star Wars. He's the leader of the Rogue Squadron, and he's my favourite Star Wars character. He also commands Wraith Squadron. Other such notable members of the Rogues would be Porkins, Biggs Darklighter, Noir Aven, Arul Krieg, I'm not quite sure how you say his name, Gavin Darklighter. Koran Horn would be probably its second most popular, well-known X-Wing pilot after Wedge. Tycho Selku and Wes Jansen. Jansen, of course, he's on Hoth. Now, here's an irony for you. Rogue Squadron are most famously known for flying X-Wings. However, their first appearance, I believe, in the original trilogy is actually on Hoth, where they're flying snowspeeders. There we go. Now, the X-Wing designs, of course, is easily its most famous, and one of the things that they designed around it when George Lucas and I forget his name now, who originally had the original designs for it, John or Jeff something, I can't remember his name, was that they wanted it to look slightly more traditional than the obviously alien TIE fighters from the Empire. And of course the X-Wing has since become symbolised through Star Wars fans as being, well, the coolest thing since sliced bread, really. I mean, you get others who favour the A-Wing, the Y-Wing, the B-Wing. I can't imagine most people would favour the Y-Wing, because it's a clunker. But okay, that's enough about the X-Wing. I think I've covered all I need to do without boring you with facts and figures. On to the toy. Now, this is one of Hasbro's, obviously, Star Wars line. It's one of the earlier Star Wars lines. And as such, it's probably one of the most expensive, as it is now. Okay, we'll take out the little pilot that comes with it, because now this is classed as Luke Skywalker, but seeing as Luke Skywalker also gets a Snowspeeder edition for himself, I don't know why they've got two called Luke Skywalker. Mainly because if they actually said it as Wedge Antilles, most people would go, ooh. So, transform it into robot mode, because you've seen it in X-Wing mode enough, but I shall talk about the X-Wing design as well. And it's a bit of a thing. Wait till you see it. Okay, just fold these back. Oh, that's just fallen off. Well done, Simon. Now, unlike the others, which have somewhat resembling pilot seats, even in robot mode, the X-Wing, even though it has, you can just see a seat in there in the middle, it's basically been shoved into a big box. Now, like my last review, which is the ARC 170, the Asterisk Wing, I believe it is. Yeah, the Asterisk Wing. Which is, by the way, supposed to be deliberately reminiscent of the X-Wing Starfighter for Revenge of the Sith. Forgot my train of thought now. Yes, unlike the like that ship as well, this has its fair share of on it. Most notably is these things. I mean, what are you supposed to do with shoulders like that? Joan Collins didn't wear shoulder pads like that, for God's sake. So I don't know where you're supposed to go with that. The head, this chrome look that makes him look like a well, it wouldn't be a miscolour. It makes him look like a bloody protocol droid. Really, really, really doesn't work. Though it does have the distinctive Rogue Squadron emblems on the head. Well, on the helmet, I should say, not the head. Why it's been painted orange, I don't know, because the arms are orange and the legs are orange, obviously, as you can see. Why it's been painted orange, I don't know, seeing as its lines down here are red, which would indicate it's either Red Squadron or Rogue Squadron. So why it's had orange, I don't know, and let's face it, red would be a much nicer colour, because there's very few things that orange goes with, and, well, pasty orange and white really don't go very, very well. So yes, my biggest gripe with this toy would have to be these daft shoulder things that slide in and out. The X-Wing itself, as you've seen from me going throughout the whole video, is very, very nice, and like the ARC, I actually keep mine displayed in its robot mode, in its X-Wing mode. Because for some reason I went on a bit of a Star Wars Looney Tune hunt on Star Wars Transformers, and I bought the Snow Speeder, and I've got Darth Vader's Death Star and Darth Vader TIE Fighter and a really stupid Land Crawler, and so I've got a few of them. I don't know why, I really don't. I just went through this mad craze. Maybe I got mad flu disease or mad cow disease or something like that. I don't know. So yes, I mean, its feet. Look at its feet. It's a clunker. Really is a clunker, and it's got these skinny, weedy little legs to go with those shoulder pads. I mean, probably there was nothing else they could have done with it, but in all fairness, come on. You could clothesline somebody with that. But yes, on eBay now, the X-Wing Starfighter, because it's named because it's actually one of the original, well, one of the first lines of the Star Wars Transformers line, is quite hard to come across. And as such, it's becoming quite expensive. So you're looking to set this back. But because it's an X-Wing, it had to be bought. It had to be bought primarily because it is an X-Wing. Because X-Wings are just awesome. But yes, for me, that is me done now. I can't actually think to say anything else about the toy. Like the ARC 170, lovely in toy mode, fugly in robot mode. But yes, for now, I shall sign off. Because I'll upload this video as soon as I'm leaving for work in about an hour. So I shall sign off this video with Silverbolts signing off with the Transformers Star Wars Luke Skywalker X-Wing. Adios, au revoir, au revoir.